What's up, everybody? Geektastic Cypher here on Free X Agents Media, your weekly dose of geek crazy conversation with a bunch of blurs and their token white dude.
Yeah.
What's up, Macho Man?
Oh man.
What's up, brother?
How was your Halloween? For those of you who don't know,
I-
Dave went as Macho Man. He was very excited. The pictures look awesome.
It was very hype. Honestly, if you want, you're more than welcome to show what on here. I think if you have one of the ones that had sung, because I don't have control. But dude, doing that Macho Man was absolutely amazing. Like at one point in time, I was actually going to debate on coming on the show just with the jacket and the glasses and whatnot. But I'm like, I think I got to get it. I think I got to stop. It's tapping into the madness is addictive. Like
when that madness gets into you, brother,
I don't want to leave.
No.
No.
Started.
Dude.
I don't even celebrate Halloween, so it's a whole extra level when you add the fact that I don't really do wrestling all that much anymore. But respects to Macho Man because he is a legend, as someone that I always respected and appreciated when I was watching it when I was younger. But also because I don't do Halloween, it's like the added levels of like two things that I'm not really as into these days.
If it helps you, in reality, it was actually an 80s themed costume party that just so happened to also land on Halloween. Like my friend was
well,
like, she was planning. Yeah, well, no, I mean, like she was planning it initially in October, and she's like, I don't want to also have a Halloween party, so.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's like that's one of the things I found weird. At my work, for example, they had a cowboy themed party, which was fun, but they did it right before Halloween. So everyone was just like, why don't we just make this a Halloween party so people could dress up however they want? And they're just like, but they had already gotten a band and stuff. And the band was fantastic. Shout outs to them. I think they were called Lipstick. Oh, I can't remember the last name. I have to look it up. But they were great. So all women fronted cowboy like rockabilly band, and it Fiddle came out, and oh man, it was really good. So shout out to them. But yeah, I mean, Halloween, man. I know people love it. I got to, you were Macho Man. Jaws, did you do anything for Halloween?
No, I didn't really do anything. When I went to work, I just kind of dressed normal, and everyone's like, "What are you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I had like an orange black flannel. I was like, pumpkin spice lumberjack. I don't know. And then when I opened up my shirt, I realized, oh wait, I have a Street Fighter 2 World Warriors t-shirt, or not World Warriors. I guess Turbo. I think it would be, because it has all even the bosses, but I don't think it has all the new warriors on it.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So I just opened it up and I was like, I'm a entitled fighting game fan. When's Marvel? Wandering around. When's Marvel?
That is a real thing, man. People are constantly asking for when games are going to drop, and then when the games do drop, they're not happy.
Well, my favorite is I think it was the producer for Tekken. So every time, like, he's Japanese, he's like a chunky guy who wears shades. Every time they always bug him about stuff. So when he went to Evo, he was like, "Oh, what do you have to say to that?" And he undid his shirt and he had a t-shirt that said, "Don't ask me for shit."
Oh,
and he was just like,
damn.
He's just like, look at my shirt. Don't ask me for shit.
Don't ask me for shit. That's hilarious.
Amazing.
So super quick, because we do have a few things that we wanted to talk about at the top of the show, but question for y'all. Have you guys heard about this Gotham Knights game, and what's your vibe if you have? Because I'm not hearing great things. I'm seeing a lot of videos comparing it to Arkham, and people are just like, look how crap this is. And I was like,
I will say this. When I first saw the initial game, like the concept, like someone doing a run of part of the level,
right?
I instantly was like, these people are ridiculously incorrectly proportioned. Like they all looked like Superman. They just looked like different sizes. Okay. Like, you're slightly taller than this Superman. You're slightly thicker than Superman. You are slightly short. Like, it was very bulky. And then eventually when the game came out, like, they fixed that. So I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. But one thing I would be concerned about is that, like, it's I've seen what it is, and based off of the trailer and I'm like, okay, so this is clearly just an add-on. Like, you are marketing this as a new game.
Right.
But this is not a new game.
It's not a new game.
You well, like no, I mean, like if I like as I was watching it, because it is a new game in the sense that it's the continuation of the story with the
I think it's kind of like a
in,
universe.
after he passes because like spoiler, did you guys
No, I didn't play Arkham.
the
Was it Knights? Arkham Knights is the last one, I think.
No, it's Arkham.
No, it's not. I don't think it's City. I think it's Arkham Knight.
No, it's yeah, I know it's Arkham Knight because this is Gotham Knights. It's Arkham Knight. Yeah. So okay. At the end of that one, Bruce dies.
Okay.
Like
yeah, because I've seen the video in this game, the cinematic death where he fights Ra's al Ghul and blows up the mansion and kills himself and Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, okay. Well,
is that what happens in the other game?
No, I remember it being different.
Oh, interesting.
But like whatever. But it's supposed to be.
I think that means that's more in line with what Jaws was saying. Then that it might be.
Okay, so then I thought it was because like I didn't realize that they took a different beginning. I didn't realize that they switched that. If they did, okay, then I guess it's not a continuation. But in regards to like how the game is, you're clearly using the same engine to do this game.
Okay,
and
same studio too, right?
Yeah.
No. This is WB Games Montreal,
and that's the problem.
So WB Games Montreal made
Origins.
So yeah, go on. I'll let Dave.
But so they have made a Batman game though.
They've made a Batman game, and that game.
What I wanted to know. Okay.
And history for that game, I was like, you did not. When I played that game, I'm like, this game is essentially like a download. It was the exact same type of format of the game. The only thing it was different skin. Like instead of like you in one game you had the ice bomb, and this one you had the glue bomb. They did the exact same thing. Okay. Like you know what I mean? So the WB game was not as good, I found, as the other Arkham games. And one thing that was obvious in playing the games is that WB was, let's say, more lighter or more of a, I don't want to say cartoony because it's not cartoony. You still have those serious, but like in comparison to Rocksteady's version, it was more anime-ish, I guess, with how the lining work and stuff was.
Okay.
And I could imagine that people doing that and adding a bunch of color onto that, like Nightwing and Robin and Batgirl and whatnot. Right. I can maybe see it being taking people out of the context of the old games in regards to appearance. And I've also heard that the game itself is like, this is what I had heard. It's like very directional, and on the top of that, it's like it's nothing. It's like, you know, oh, I'm going and I get a level, and sure I do it, but you're just like, I don't know. It sounded like it was a little lackluster, but I mean, I can't say because I didn't necessarily see the.
Yeah, you haven't had actual gameplay, so you're not sure exactly.
I've seen and I've heard what people who, like a friend of mine or someone or from some type of cast or something that I heard and that.
I've played it.
And
I've played it, and the fighting is miles behind any Arkham anything.
Right.
And that's what takes you out of it immediately, because these guys went and took away the counter button.
What?
So now you just have a general dodge that you can do with circle.
Okay.
Or B or whatever, but like the actual triangle like counter spider sense thing that they innovated, they took it out.
Interesting.
So they nerfed the game. They made it.
Hell yeah, it's no. Anyways, like I could see how that can get redundant really, really fast, because the game is essentially go here, get a mission, beat up some guys. Go here, get a mission, beat up some guys.
I've seen a lot of people making videos online showing at least not even just gameplay, just sheer graphics. Like people are showing the difference between walking down the street in Gotham, walking down the street in Gotham Knights. There's a scene where Bruce is near water and the detail in the motion of the water and stuff like that, and then they cut to Batgirl being on standing on like a pier, and the water is kind of just this blue glow, like it almost looks like slime just like swaying back and forth, as opposed to like water with the detail of like, you know when you look at water sometimes when it's like crashing, you see like the white foamy stuff building up and stuff like that. They didn't even have that. It just really looks like someone just put slime in a bucket and then they're just going like this back and forth and filmed that and threw that in the game. So there's some I know
for me, I know probably a few people that worked on that game, and they're excited to talk about it and everything. To my understanding, this game is a multiplayer game, so I think
which is
it's a little bit unfair to compare a single player experience to a multiplayer one, especially when
That's true.
if you're doing a multiplayer thing, you have to scale back the details, because then if I'm running on a crappier internet connection than somebody else, or I'm running on a lower res computer, then it's not going to sync up and all that kind of stuff. So
this is good to know, because like I keep seeing these videos where people complaining, and I keep wondering, like, it's weird to me that someone would make a game based on such a popular IP and do so many weird things to limit the game or reduce the accessibility, or even, you know, like just a general love for the game. So now that I understand that you're not meant to play this as a single player, you should be playing it. So I imagine people are supposed to be playing online together.
Yes.
So is it open world?
From my understanding from the reviews I've seen, is like you can be doing something in, like, let's say East Gotham, and your friend could be all the way in West Gotham doing other stuff.
Cool.
But you can be together, and then there are fighting moves where you can team up and like double team people and and use and and support other people, because I think each character is very specific on what they do and what they can do. Like one person support, one person does this, one person does that. So, and one person's like an all-around character. So you have like Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl, if I remember right.
Right, exactly.
For me,
all right. I mean, I'm down to see what it's like, because again, I you guys know me. I always say it. I'm a sandbox serial killer. I go into these games just to run around and blow shit up. I don't actually play to try and finish the games. It's very rare that I want to finish a game. Red Dead 2 was so much fun that I actually wanted to finish it. You know, Grand Theft Auto, The Ballad of Gay Tony was so funny to me that I wanted to finish it. But there's
some really good writing in those Rockstar
games.
Those I feel so sad when you're like, yeah, man, just blow up everything. Like, but the writing is actually really good.
Sure. I mean, the writing can be there. The writing can be great, but I'm not interested in the story usually. You know, shout outs to Ari, our friend who's been on the pod before, and she's actually does this for a living and helps with narratives and stuff like that. And I'm sure she would tell me, like, no, that's just my job. You should actually give these things a chance. And it's not.
I go to the Marvel movies and I just like the people in costumes and colors.
Well, that's different though, because for me,
overarching story. What are you talking about?
I can't watch one of those movies without seeing the story, whereas I can play these games without the story and still have a lot of fun. And that's what's different to me. Mind you, you're not wrong. There are some people who go see these superhero movies and are there literally just for the costumes, maybe the music, maybe even just because they like an actor. They don't even care about the 20-something movies that have been made. They just want to see, for some odd reason, I don't know, let's say Drax repeatedly. He's their favorite actor. Which, let's be honest, one of the best wrestling actors out there. So
he's been doing good. He did a lot of work.
I think we can finally say, out of all the actors, Cena, him, Rock, he's possibly the best one. I'm gonna say,
of like actual acting capability.
Yes.
Ooh, Batista.
Batista. Yes.
Definitely after what happened with Black Adam, bro. Black Adam shot one down and Dune shot the other up.
Yeah. I will say, I think Batista is a better actor than The Rock and Cena.
I think Batista has more chances on the different. I think he's given more chances to do different roles, and he also has Denis Villeneuve like hooking him up a lot.
Yeah, but I mean,
and he's also trying. He's also trying super hard. He's like, I got an acting coach, and not to say that the other two don't. I know The Rock's been given a lot of chances.
Right.
And, like, he had to go through a lot to find his footing.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
A lot of gridiron gangs, a lot of fasters. You know?
Yeah. He did do the grunt work and whatnot, but he also he grew also because of his character and who he was and whatnot. But I think Cena is a little underrated, but that's again because I think Cena's he came in type cast before he even tried.
Right.
Well, I think
he's good at comedy.
Yeah, his timing is ridiculous.
Yes.
Well, I think the interesting thing about Cena is that we don't, like he said when he did the whole "you can't see me" thing, that was just a gag between him and like a family member.
Yeah.
And then everybody started grabbing onto that, and he was like, "Oh," and like he's always been a funny guy, but I think it was Terry Crews said he was like the first funny buff dude ever. Since what was it called? Friday After Next.
Yeah.
and like buff dudes weren't allowed to be funny.
Right.
And then once he started doing that, all of a sudden, oh, The Rock's funny, and then
flexing your pecs is a hilarious thing you can do. So let's do it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. John Cena, like out of all the comedic actors recently, actually has some of the best comedic timing in the game. Yeah, I will say that 100%. The Rock, as an actor, I feel has unfortunately limited range with what he does, but he's fun to watch. Batista is the only one out of these guys that I've seen that I'm just like, you've played this like broken robot dude in this movie, and you've played this guy in this movie, and you've played a Bond henchman in this movie, and every time I'm seeing something very different from you. And I'm at, like, and even when you do comedies, because what is it called? Stuber Drive? Stuber?
He did Stuber, and he did something with like he was like a cop with a girl. Like he did
the little girl?
Yeah, like the cop and a half.
Right, something like that.
He did a cop and a half type thing with
and you know, credit to him, those were relatively funny, but I think his strongest films were the ones where he was in serious roles, and he doesn't tend to do as well in comedies because he doesn't have the same comedic timing as Cena. But then when I'm looking at acting skills overall, I see more range from him than I see from Cena or from The Rock.
But you know what's funny? I find that the things you're describing could also be said about their wrestling personas. Like example, Cena's wrestling persona was either comedic or like, you know, I'm being over the top, I'm the hero or whatever, which is just like being loud and stuff. And that's what he is in his movies. The Rock would be someone who has something all around and given a lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
exactly what you described. And Batista was always seen as a serious character.
Okay, that's fair.
Always. I mean, like he was always someone of a stature. Yeah, so it's just funny that, like, you know, he never did anything funny in wrestling.
Yeah,
Rock has done 1,000 things that were funny, but he's also done a bunch of serious stuff. Like, you know,
that's interesting. That is interesting. That's a good point. Yeah. I guess, that's where their acting strengths come from, so they carry it over. We just got a message real quick. Someone pointed out Horizon Zero Dawn has great narrative and solid gameplay, and Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, I know, is also very good. So, yeah. My partner plays both those games, loves them, and speaks highly of them all the time. So I know that's one of her favorite games. And when it comes to kind of insanely large open worlds, too, because from what I see, when she shows me the map and how long it takes her to travel from one point to the next, I'm like, do you get bored sometimes? Like I love Red Dead, but like there's times in Red Dead where I'm just like, I don't want to do this, traveling across this whole ass map on a horse.
Yeah, no, man. Horizon was what's it called? Overwhelming. I quit that game because it was too much.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world, jackass.
Jackass.
But that
man, traveling on a horse is long.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. When I'm playing a video game, I'm down to travel on the horse if it's like, and I get the point, because like my buddy work,
but usually they sprinkle some extra stuff off the path for you to do, so you're not just
yeah. But I'm talking about when you've like almost finished the game completely, and you start just like going from place to place,
right?
There's times where you've done all the like little extras along the road. So the only thing they can throw at you is like a random animal attack. And you're just like, okay, but I've played this game long enough to know when the wolves come, if I have dynamite, just start throwing dynamite to freak them out and then start shooting and you're good.
Put that, what was it? That Bugs Bunny clip of him at like leaning on the bar.
Yeah. Like you get to the point in Red Dead where like your dead eye is so good, when the wolves start to attack you, you just dead eye and shoot that one in the head. Dead eye, shoot that one in the head. And then you're like, all right, I got some pelts to take into town on my way there. So it kind of gets a little bit boring when you're taking the road and you're just like, to me, it's a little weird when I'm hoping to have the wolves attack, so I have something to sell.
Yeah, until that cougar runs up on your ass, and then
Which, don't get me wrong, when the cougar runs up on you, that's some fun excitement, because all of a sudden, like when you go up north to that scientist dude's house, if you go along that trail in the back by the train track to that empty hut, there's almost always a cougar there. And the first time I did it, I didn't know to expect a cougar. And I got to tell you, it was nighttime in the game and the cougar's eyes glowed. And I was just like, I didn't even get mad. I was just like, this is some good shit. These people put some dope shit in the game. and I was impressed. Like I was just like, oh damn, the glowing eyes too. And by the time I like reacted to the glowing eyes, I was like, oh, you're trying to kill me. I have to start shooting at you. Like I was just like, oh crap. So I started shooting, and thankfully I killed it because I shot, and then like grabbed my knife and just started like snapping at it while it's like clawing at me, and I survived barely. But then and I destroyed the pelt too, which is unfortunate.
I would love if someone just joined the podcast right now and was listening to
you. I stabbed it and
exactly.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point, I usually just angrily shoot it in the face a bunch of times with the shotgun.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so mad that the pelts are ruined. I'm like, piece of stupid cougar.
Especially when it says like perfect pelt and it attacks you and you're like, God damn it.
I hate when it fucks up my horse and then my horse runs off all mad. And I don't have my bow and arrow and I'm out here stuck with like the revolver and a dummy ass like knife.
Yes.
And the cougar is messing you up. Oh my God.
Yeah, honestly, that's why whenever I'm on my horse in Red Dead, one of the things I do is I always sling the shotgun over my shoulder.
I got bow and arrow, always got a rifle. Yeah, no matter what. Because that one time you get caught.
Right.
Nah.
For anyone who hasn't played Red Dead, this probably makes no sense to you, but we're just waxing poetic about how you can protect yourself in this wild west. But yeah. Honestly, gaming has become such an amazing and interesting aspect of media, and sometimes it's so funny to watch how gaming and film cross over and all the things, the narrative things that they're doing. The Suicide Squad game that we're going to be getting.
Oh yeah, that's still happening
any minute now.
I'm actually looking forward to that, but I won't be able to play it like all the others because of PS5s.
Oh, is it PS5 exclusive?
I think so.
Oh,
not PS5s, but like it's not PS4. Like PS4 is getting ruined, and apparently happening starting this month.
Oh, they're gonna stop making the PS4 versions of games.
Yeah, like it actually starts with Gotham Knights, and based off of the reviews that everyone's telling me, it's not causing the need to buy a PS5.
I was gonna say
not helping.
I was gonna say Gotham Knights is probably the worst game for them to have started it on because the reviews have been so bad. People are just like, well, I guess it's good. I still got a PS4. Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 is gonna do that. Spider-Man 2 is moving the needle for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to talk about gaming too much more, only because I do, because I've heard some very interesting. I was at a party this weekend and a bunch of gamers were having very detailed conversations about the Xbox's plan for the next couple years. But I actually think, if anything, we should probably get someone who works in gaming to come on with us sometime soon to talk about that stuff. Because not supposedly, Microsoft is buying up a lot of stuff to start, and potentially will start doing their own exclusives to compete with with Sony, and it's going to be very interesting in the next couple of years, people are saying. So we'll try and reach out to someone and see which one of our nerd friends loves gaming enough to be that deep in the narrative. But with that said,
not get fired in the process.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even talking about people who work in the gaming industry. Like, 8-bit closed fist might be interesting. There's a few people that we know out there, so we'll probably hit them.
What are gonna make another Fable?
Oh,
I thought they were making another Fable.
That was one of the conversations that they had. That Fable was.
I can't remember who's making a Fable, but somebody's making a Fable.
Interesting. Okay, but speaking of content that we want and content that we need, first things first. We got some new music. I'm not allowed to talk about this too much because I had to sign an NDA the first time I heard the song, which was hilarious. But can we talk about "Lift Me Up"? How do you guys feel about that song? And the music video.
Rihanna's back.
Riri's back. Yes.
Post baby.
Yeah.
Riri's back.
post billions too. No, didn't she become a billionaire after she stopped releasing music for a minute?
Yeah.
So this is the first time she's releasing music as a billionaire and as a mother.
Yeah, because I think didn't she buy back her? Did she own her masters too, or something like that too?
I mean, when you're that rich, I'm sure people will let you buy anything.
So there's that. There's that. She's gonna be doing the Super Bowl and everything. But I thought the song was okay.
Yeah,
I think the song was okay. But I had no idea it was for the soundtrack for Wakanda Forever. It was only when they started showing images, I was like, oh, okay, so that's some good cross promotion there. Like triple cross promotion? No, I don't even have a third arm for this. Just an analogy here.
When I first heard it, I remember thinking, I love this for the soundtrack. I don't know that I love it for her as her first track back in the game, because I know that people have been waiting for Riri to come back with a banger, and this is a ballad. And there's nothing wrong with a ballad versus a banger, but it's just when you are expecting that Riri energy and you get ballad energy, some of us, you know, I feel like ballads are for older audiences and Riri can still tap into the youth. So I was hoping for a banger.
For me, I kind of understand. I mean, you know, she's a mom now, and you know, Beyonce came out with Drunken Love, and people got mad about a woman talking about having drunken sex with her husband, and her winding up on her husband. But people mad.
You know,
so it's just like, all right, we saw how that worked out. That didn't work out good. Okay, what else can I do here? I can't do You Needed Me because I'm in a committed relationship right now, so that doesn't make no sense. I can't do Throw It Up. I'm a mom now. I got billions. I'm an executive.
You're married to one.
I gotta think
with the next level rapper. I feel like even if like, don't get me wrong, she doesn't need to tap into ASAP and his crew. But
no, I think didn't they do one song together before she took the big hiatus? I think they did a collab, or she was in a music video or something like that.
Well, I know she's in his recent music video, and there's one where they like get married in the video and everything.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, everyone got really excited. And see, had that song had her on the hook or something, I would have been like, this isn't enough, but it's a nice little sample, nice little taste of what we're expecting.
I do like that she was like, no, I'm on break. I'll lend myself to my man over here, you know,
music video,
and let people believe anything they see in a music video, even though the music video is just promotion.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, I'm on break. I'm not making any music. I'm not thinking about it. I'm on break. I'm doing Fenty. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm gonna show up at a ball competition. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's like a dance competition where they're doing
Vogue and voguing.
Yeah. Someone made a video where it's like how two good-looking women say hi to each other, and so the girl's walking by swinging her hair around Rihanna, and Rihanna's like just giving it a finger. She's like, screw this girl.
I still want this Riri Lupita Nyong'o movie that everyone got obsessed over on Twitter.
Have my money one.
Which actually when like it actually got traction and people were like in talks and stuff, so I still want to see it, and we've been waiting, so hopefully, because if we got that crazy one with the girl, the stripper, and the white friend that go on that trip, Lola or whatever it's called, I don't even remember now. They gave us that one from Twitter where the strippers go, and next thing you know, the girl that she's making friends with turns out to be an escort. Girl didn't know. She thought they were just going to make some fun money stripping.
Wait, they made that a movie?
Yeah, they made the movie from it. Zola, that's it. They made the movie from it. And it's literally the movie.
I read that Twitter story too. Like I was at work.
That was just a Twitter thread, and they turned it into a movie. And I was just like, oh, crazy. So
and then was it Rihanna also did? Was it Ocean's? No,
8.
Not. Is it Ocean's 8 or is it not Ocean?
No, it's Ocean's 8. It's
okay. Thanks.
The one that's
it's not a prequel. It's the one to all women.
Yeah, the one that's all women's is Ocean's 8.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Because it's like Ocean's 7, but Ocean's
plus 1.
Yeah. Well, it's just because it's like our origin story, so they just made it close, like, you know.
And they connected it because one of them is somebody.
Sandra Bullock
is what's his name's sister.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Clooney's
so.
Character's sister.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I don't see why you had to connect it, but sure, let's Hollywood. God forbid you just
because we have the name and everyone knows the name.
Yeah.
Do you remember Clooney's character's name? Because I didn't.
Ocean.
Yeah. Oh, that's his name.
Yeah, I like that was the best answer. Ocean.
I totally forgot that was dude's name. I was just like,
his last name. Because it's so just funny. Like, well, we're not gonna tie it into the Frank Sinatra movie because even Clooney was like, didn't you see that movie? The movie's trash.
Oh no. Okay,
It wasn't good.
It was.
Yeah,
no,
it's one of those 60 movies where they have no ending and they just do whatever. They do have an ending. They don't get the money.
Yeah, I was explaining to one Gen Z and one millennial at my work because we were talking about movies, and they didn't know The Italian Job was originally a remake. Like there's an original Italian Job, and then I said, "Yeah, in Ocean's 11, there's the original Ocean's 11," and they're like, "There's an original Ocean's 11," and I was like, "Yes," but here's the thing: 60s movie heist pacing is so slow, and the story is so all over the place. There's literally a scene where a guy goes to a military base and finds out about his kid, and he's driving in a car, and that's like 20 minutes of the movie, and I was like, what am I watching right now? Like, it is crazy that they made movies like that back in the day, but that's 60s
Same
pacing.
with
That's
I
with
think Grand
Sinatra,
Theft
right?
Auto.
Yeah.
I think Grand Theft Auto, there's a movie with Ron Howard, and
Okay.
then when Rockstar made their game, I think they took the same font from the poster of that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hilarious.
same poster style and
designs.
everything. I think. Yeah.
That's funny.
And the original Italian Job is Michael Caine, no?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And there's like a chant song in there.
Yeah. That I don't
really-
remember, but yeah. But anyways, back to Riri. We're excited because it's just building up anticipation for the movie. The movie comes out in like 9 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have my tickets.
November 11th, Remembrance
Yes.
Day. It's coming out on.
Wild. But I have my tickets. So you guys get your tickets yet for?
Wait,
no, yeah, I'm gonna get it soon.
Is it? You're saying that but you're saying it's the 11th?
It
The
is
11th of November.
Yeah, November 11th.
Remembrance Day.
So yeah, but that means for us it really comes out on the Thursday.
Dude,
Right.
We don't.
Yes. Yeah.
So I can watch it before going on
yeah.
vacation. I could
Sure.
see it. I could actually
Sure.
see the film. I won't be able to review it with you guys, but I'll be able to see this film.
I'm not a government employee. I don't get that day off.
No.
I'm not in school. If I was in school, I still have that day.
No, it's just because now, like, I know we have that in Montreal. I don't know if they do it everywhere. I think they do it everywhere where the movie comes out the night before.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's as of 7 p.m. Everyone's doing that, right?
Oh, that.
I think so,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That's
I
what.
know-
Yeah, that's what Dave's talking about. The fact that
Yeah.
he'll be able
Oh,
to
okay,
see
my
it the
bad.
night before at 7.
Yeah,
I
because I
know
so happened to be going
also-
on a trip on the 10th for on the 11th for a while. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to get to see the movie. But when you guys
That's
told me,
fair.
I was like, oh wait, yes,
Yeah, man. Well, I would say try and buy your tickets soon because that might be sold out if it's the night before. Because you know how people like to.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure for the place that I go to, it'll be.
Dave's
fine.
just gonna break into a place just because.
No. I have my spot, and my spot is a pretty secure spot.
Nigga, other people know about sources. Stop it.
Why you say it out loud? Now
love the
people gonna
snitching.
go.
I love the
You
snitching.
snitch. Exactly.
Just throwing
Skinny,
out
you're
the names.
worst.
Don't
You're
even
the
show me your
worst.
face and you snitch.
The
Yeah,
worst.
horrible.
Stabbed you in the back with the camera
I
off.
know.
The
What
worst.
a jerk. What a
It's funny
jerk.
though because he's not wrong. A lot of people know that there's certain places where you don't buy your tickets in advance. You can only buy them there, and then the lineup. But essentially, you still have to line up though.
Yo, Dave, just bet that most white people are racist in the West Island. They're just not gonna go see it.
Shit.
That is not. I'm not saying
Rah!
that. I ain't saying that. That's
What's
that.
the- what's the
I
name?
don't believe that's a two-term because hello.
Yeah, but you're
That's
not.
not
You're,
Said most.
yeah,
But you're on our show.
yeah, and
You're with us.
what show is it? What
You've
show is it
broken
where they
bread
say-
with us.
There's a show where someone says you're one of the good ones. I don't remember what show it is, but Dave, I mean, so far you're one of the good ones.
No, my favorite.
so far.
My favorite was my favorite was
I'm just
Undercover.
putting that disclaimer in case
Constantly
we do
on my
something mad
toes
wild
here.
in the future, and I can be like, "Oh, he's white," so you figure.
There's
My
an old
favorite
tweet,
is
I'm sure.
I
Undercover
always had
Brother.
that.
My favorite's Undercover Brother, where Neil Patrick Harris is like the one white guy working with all the black people, and he's like, "What's up with the white dude?" And he's like, "What can I say? Affirmative action, man. It works both ways."
Gary Owens is in that too. No, isn't
No,
he the-
no, that was Neil Patrick Harris was the white guy.
no, I know, but isn't Gary Owens in the movie doing something else too, in that same group? Or
I
is that
don't
the-
remember. I don't remember.
Undercover
Undercover
Brother the one that has a sequel?
It has a sequel, but
No.
the sequel came out like years later. And
yeah.
what's his name?
And a sequel?
Yeah, it does.
Michael Ja White plays Undercover Brother
Yes,
now, as
yeah,
opposed
yeah,
to Eddie
yeah.
Griffin.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
that's
not with Eddie.
weird.
Okay,
It's not with Eddie Griffin. So the
Okay.
first one's
Wait,
Eddie
Michael
Griffin,
Jai
and it has
White.
Dave Chappelle and
Yeah,
Chi
I remember that.
McBride, and then the
Yeah, I think
sequel
that-
came out years
Is
later.
it the
'cause-
yeah, okay. Gary Owens is in Under Brother Cover 2.
okay, yeah,
Okay,
so
hold
it's
on.
two
That's
then most likely.
Michael
That's
Jai
so
White.
funny.
That's Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
So Black Dynamite went in Undercover Brother 2, which is pretty much a precursor to Black Dynamite.
I don't know because
Michael
I
Jai
remember
likes making blaxploitation type movies.
Yeah.
So
because
Yeah.
it was supposed to be Black Dynamite 2 or like a Western movie originally. And then I think that didn't get picked up, and then they had the rights to do Undercover Brother, so they're like, okay, fine, we'll just do Undercover Brother 2. So it's the same people that did
Yeah.
Black Dynamite, but they did Undercover Brother 2 instead.
Huzzah! That
Yeah.
was a great movie, Black Dynamite.
yeah.
And the cartoon show too was good
Oh,
too.
the cartoon's
So
fantastic.
good.
Fantastic cartoon. continuing with our list though, because
Riri's song was great. Wish it was
Riri,
more. Wish it was more Riri, but
yes, and we'll get more Riri.
It.
I'm sure we'll get more Riri. I'm sure. Can we talk a quick minute about Green Lantern being revamped to focus on John Stewart? How are we feeling about that?
I mean, finally, but Jesus, this is the second time.
Yeah.
Because I think originally it was supposed to be the guy that did Mad Max Fury Road, and Common was supposed to be John Stewart, and then that kind of.
But that's a movie, though. This is about like a series.
Oh, it's a series. Okay,
yeah. This is an HBO Max series that they wanted to do. They're originally going to focus on Guy Gardner and Alan Scott, the Green Lantern.
Why Guy Gardner?
Yeah,
no
exactly. And I'm pretty sure we've had that conversation on this podcast. We were like, we don't need a Guy Gardner show. No,
the reason you get Guy Gardner is so that Batman shows up, and then you do the bit where it's like one punch. He beat him with one punch, and then you move on.
Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry. I know you might like Guy Gardner, but as the tent pole of your series, Guy Gardner's not the guy I want starring in the show.
Don't people hate him? Isn't Guy Gardner a dick?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
He's like a rude Han Solo.
Han Solo's rude.
But he
has
a red-headed bowl cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Aesthetically, he's terrible. I mean, you don't have to do it, but that's what you'd see when you think about it.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, Dave. Guy Gardner was not a good idea from jump. I could have told HBO, hey, you guys are picking the wrong character. There's literally an entire generation of millennials waiting for a Jon Stewart show. Why would you pick a guy that 90% of people do not even know and don't even remember from Justice League? Like Gardner. How many episodes of Justice League was Guy Gardner in? Unlimited.
3 at best.
Yeah, I was gonna say no more than 5. I'll tell you that.
He also shows up in Batman Brave and the Bold just to do the bit that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But in Brave and the Bold, at least like again, comedic type show, so it's kind of funny to see him. But I'm not
but he's a good character. I because
better than Jon Stewart?
No,
tell me he's better.
No. But so when they first announced this show, I always thought that they were going to go with Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner. I was like, I would think the better choice would have been Jon Stewart, considering.
Sure. Yeah.
But I was like, they might do Kyle Rayner because he's an artist and they could connect with a lot of people through like and like he's like the
better constructs.
Yeah, we chose, and it's also like we chose
everyday man.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have Stone Cold Steve Austin right there for the average person. Like you know what I mean? Like you're just following him.
But Jon Stewart is also like, I know he's former military, but he's like architect.
He's leader. You're gonna see the rise of a leader with that show.
Which is okay. You're saying like
there's a different types of what you'd be watching.
Okay,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what I thought originally. But when they said it was gonna be Guy, I was like, oh, well, because it's Guy, I was expecting it to be a lot more like Brave and the Bold, where Guy's gonna be more. Guy's gonna not necessarily be the actual, like he'll be the main guy in the sense he's the person you're seeing every week, but he's gonna be like 1 week it's gonna be with Kilowatt, next week it's gonna be with like that is what Guy Gardner would be good for, and maybe they just messed that up because they're like, no, we'll do a story around him. Which if you do that,
you have to. Mean. I can see that working.
Also, though, it's Berlanti again, which I think that's the problem. You got to stop turning to the same guy over and over and over.
He still has a job.
Yeah, and
after Powerpuff Girls, really?
And dude, they keep canceling all his shows, so it's like, why do you keep giving him stuff? You just canceled Stargirl.
Stargirl got axed?
Yeah, 3 seasons, and they're like end of third.
Yeah, but I think that's also an outcome of what's happening with the CW verse.
Oh, right. Well, okay. So
I don't think that's necessarily Stargirl's fault.
Yeah, quick background for those who may not know. CW, and I think we talked about it here, CW has recently been sold. It's now owned by Nexstar. Nexstar wants to make some changes and start saving some money, so they started making some cuts. Right now, as it stands, the new owners of CW haven't even signed second season deals for some of the newer shows.
Bro, what's Nexstar?
Yeah, I didn't know about this. You're saying this all live. I'm like, I guess
like
they
poor
talk
man
about
Pawn
it,
Star.
but then like no one else is reacting. So like,
Nexstar is a company in the States that's like, like those smaller networks. I think Nexstar might own WGN.
Oh snap! WGN Chicago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That brings me back.
Do they also own Stars Network, or that has nothing to do with them?
WGN is a Nexstar Media Group station. Hold on, I'm trying to see who else they own. They own News Nation, and what else do they own?
Zoom.
They
own Zoom right there, prominent.
Zoom.
But yeah, like so, Nexstar is like this company that's been quietly building over a long period of time and buying up smaller stuff here and there, but overall was becoming a bigger player in the game. And CW was their opportunity to get into the big leagues because CW was co-owned by Warner and Viacom. So it's kind of a big deal to own something that's formerly owned by the big guys.
Right.
So that's their big push into the mainstream, like the main broadcast with CW. Because CW, for some odd, I guess because it's still like, even without cable in the States, your terrestrial channels are ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and CW. So that's
they're like the fifth.
Right. Yeah. They're like, they're lower tier. You don't need cable to have the CW stuff. So it's a big move for Nexstar. All that to say, they're trying to save money like everybody else. So they haven't given a season 2 order to Winchester's or Independence, the Walker Texas Ranger spinoff. And people are just like, oh, that's what, how long are you going to wait? Because November is usually when you announce, for advertising reasons, who you're going to do that with. But I guess the old model's kind of out the window and people are making these decisions way later. Anyways, this is probably boring for some people, but all that to say, that's why, as you were saying, Berlanti, the Stargirl might be canceled. But more to do with that.
But I feel also at that point, because I never heard about this until now. Now I just feel like it's like CW is going to get shot in the back. Like, this is old Yeller at this point.
I mean, I think Nexstar is trying their best not to let it die. But more like Warner and Viacom saw that it wasn't worth it financially. So that's why they were trying to sell it off.
But like, example, do they have the rights to Flash and stuff now because they bought CW? Because like CW was like,
no, those like they had the rights to the shows that they signed deals for. So, but I know that Viacom, which is the parent company for Paramount, and well, actually, Viacom is now called Paramount. So Paramount and Warner, we're still gonna make stuff for them.
Okay,
and then you just, as a network, the usual way, you just
so they're still gonna make the shows. It's just that CW will purchase the shows from them.
Right, which is what they were already doing, which is why it's a weird thing when a network that owns a station also is the one that airs shows from those two major like production companies and then pay them to get the shows, but are also making a profit from the shows. Like they have these really weird deals sometimes in Hollywood that you're like, what, you guys are essentially double dipping. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
But this is just probably them trying. Like, you know what it is? It's just probably they needed to remove a lot of overhead, and they're like, what has a lot of overhead but is not producing?
Yeah. Well, for Warner's for sure, because we know Zaslav is like cutting everywhere across the board.
Yeah.
So one of the
that guy's just a bad idea. Sorry. He's either a bad idea or mad genius. And we don't know that because it hasn't happened yet.
I've had conversations with people, and I think one of the major, and shout outs to Jaws for telling me to listen to that Adam Conover episode, because I did listen to it.
Yeah.
And Conover says the exact same things I've been saying about what Zaslav is doing, which is, I understand if you decide you want to save $3 billion, but to do it in the way you're doing it shows no regard for the people that have been building the company for the years that they've been there. And to come in and just be like, well, Discovery Warner is one thing now, so we're just going to choppity chop and make as much money as we can from what's left, is really nasty. And I think we're going to see HBO and HBO Max have a lot less high quality content in the near future, because a lot of people aren't pitching to them anymore because they just don't trust them to give it a chance. Same way people don't pitch to Netflix as much as they used to, because Netflix is canceling everything. They just canceled Winx, they canceled Cowboy Bebop, they cancel everything. So
Netflix is the worst, but in regards to HBO, the only thing that sucks about what you're saying, and even about what's going on, because I agree with your sentiment, it's that HBO will then soon like go the way of the dodo, because like you're ripping away the idea. HBO is always, since its infancy, has always been, if you're going to watch a show on HBO, it's a certain quality.
Right.
It might not, like, example, if you're going to watch a version of a British show on them, it's going to be faded, like how British lenses are kind of a little bit more faded or a little a certain way. Like, you know, that all what's it called? Game of Thrones, perfect example. You know, Westworld. We could go on forever about like, you know, the quality of the shows. But like, if you take that away because of what you're doing, because this, like, again, this is more the snowball effect. Because, like, example, at a place that one of my friends know, they had like a restructuring that was kind of the same. Like, you know, we're gonna do this now, and a lot of people are like, well, that's like a bad idea, and we know what that means. Like, we know what that means, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that happens, and it doesn't happen right away, but over time, people end up being like the good employees. End up being like,
you start to jump ship.
I'm done here. Like, this is stupid. Unless you decide to pay me more, you just you give me the one thing that's going to keep me here, I'm going to leave.
Right. And that's what happened with HBO is crazy because, and Jaws, you heard it too in that Conover interview.
Yeah.
It's the fact that AT&T bought them and then immediately decided, oh, we want to spin this off. Because how does he say it? It's nice to own the pipes. Like, it's a nice idea to own the pipes and the things that go in the pipes, but you realize you lose money on the things that go in the pipes. So you're like, oh, why did we buy the stuff that goes in the pipes? We already own the pipes. So AT&T was just like, oh, we own the all this stuff. We run the internet, we run the cable, all that stuff. We sell you all these cable services. So it'd be nice to also own the television shows and the production stuff. And then they're just like, oh, wait, we lose so much money on this production side. So they immediately tried to spin it off. And then you have Warner Discovery that gets birthed into creation. And you have all these people just losing their jobs, getting cuts, like you're saying, and then you end up in a situation where everything is getting canceled. No one's pitching to them, and even when AT&T had bought them initially, one of the things that was crazy is one of the guys, the executive, walked into the HBO offices, and everyone at HBO was just like, I mean, hey, we have nothing to worry about. We're the cream of the cream. We're the top of the game. No one messes with us. We get more nominations and stuff like that than anyone else in the game. And the dude
got hardware.
Sorry.
We got hardware.
Right. Big facts. They had all the hardware.
I think before you were talking about vertical integration where you just own all the stuff. And then you just do all the thing and just...
Yeah.
Apple. What's Apple's trying to do, basically.
Yeah, but even Apple, they're using their streaming as a loss leader. Also, one of the things that
I meant like more of their technology, like their phones.
Oh, facts, yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Big shout outs again to that episode, because we learned that the guy that was at HBO in the era where HBO was making all their best content that we think of, all those shows you just named, Dave, that guy left HBO to go to Apple, which is why all the shows like Severance and all that stuff, all those shows feel like HBO shows from a couple years ago, because that same guy is the one catering and curating the structure and the style of the shows over at Apple. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I only learned it because of the pod that Jaws mentioned. So I would highly. What was it called again? Waypoint.
It's a part of Vice.com, but it's more so their video game stuff. And they just came out with another podcast, which is more related about sports. But like, I think they're trying to figure out the name, and one of the names that came out was Bear Down with Sports or something like that, because both of the two guys are from Chicago and they love the Bears. And a lot of times they're just like, yeah, Bears not gonna make it this game. Oh well.
I don't even understand how you start a podcast without a name, but hey, they did a great show. That episode was so much fun to listen to, and you learn so much. Like, I learned so much from that episode about who's doing what and what decisions were being made.
Got to see how
the sausage is made. Yeah.
Because I think Adam was with True TV, and that was part of the eat up.
Exactly.
He was on a plane and found out that True TV didn't exist anymore by the time he landed.
And True TV had some cool stuff, man. It had some really cool stuff. So yeah, kind of crazy. And then the last thing that we had on the docket that we're going to talk about before we go into our small show reviews. How do you guys feel? Our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Yahya, is now tapped to play Wonder Man.
Why'd they do that shit?
Say what?
Why'd they do that shit?
Because
Wonder Man ain't shit. Nobody cares about Simon. That nigga died 3 times before he actually became relevant.
Hey.
Nobody cares about Simon,
hold up.
His brother's cooler than him, bro.
Wait, who's his brother?
Yeah, I was about to
Grim
say.
fucking Reaper.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Hold
Yeah,
up.
man.
First of all, no one cared about the Avengers.
Oh,
First of all, no one gave a crap about Iron Man. Hey, Sony, when they bought the rights to Spider-Man, they were like, hey, do you want all these guys? You know, West Coast Avengers, all this, Iron Man, all that. No one knows who that is. Get out of here. Get out of that crap. We got Spider-Man. Everyone loves Spider-Man.
I'm happy they didn't buy the other stuff though, because that ended up
happy.
saving Marvel. Marvel Studios was birthed from the fact that, hey, we got to use these leftover pieces.
I mean, even though I had a good soundbite right there, I do agree with Akil. No one gives a crap about Wonder Man, so
Simon.
that's why they raised.
No, actually, why they do that to Yahya after he killed Dr. Manhattan? It's more or less he just wanted to jump from DC, and this was like, you could have Simon, and he was like, nah, but what about Cyclops? Simon? Nah, but what about Gambit? Simon Wonder Man?
I honestly was wondering if he was hoping to get Blue Marvel, because he would have done a good Blue Marvel. Like when people are always casting Blue Marvel and age and size and stuff, after we've seen Yahya in the Black Manta outfit and stuff, I'm like, oh, I could see this dude wearing like the blue leather vest jacket thing with the M on the chest. I'm like, okay, I could see it. And then instead we're gonna get him in this weird movie director getup with the red coat with the cinched waist.
It's terribly stereotypical, but he could have even been Brother Voodoo. Like, what they do that for?
Yeah, he would have been a good Brother Voodoo.
I think they don't want to do Blue Marvel yet, because you still have Cosmic Miss Marvel, and they're still like, she's the most powerful person, even though she got punched. Some dudes come up, even though she got punched out by Thanos without using all the stones. I'm like,
yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been saying, because I'm getting a lot of hate in some of these nerd groups for saying we don't need to race bend white characters. We have enough black characters, and I know people make one guy made the argument of, why are you in favor of all this whiteness, white erasure, where he's explaining, like, for historically they never wrote black characters, so of course we don't have as many black characters. But I'm like, sure, but we now do have these black characters. They do exist. They're there. You're not using them. You're instead race bending these white characters that have longer histories, but you have no reason to make these characters black. You could just
at the same
use
time,
the black characters who exist and give them, like, how far back do you feel you need to go with a character? Nobody went back far for Tony. Tony didn't go through alcoholism, losing the company. Like, they didn't do any of that stuff. You don't need to. Guess what?
Went through like a little bit of alcoholism in number 2, but it was like barely.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Minor.
But like, you didn't do the whole history of all these things he went through. So why do you feel the need, like, oh, we're gonna use Simon once again? And it's hilarious to say, no one, and it's probably the title of the episode, no one gives a fuck about Simon.
Also, you want to ask this black dude, was that the hill you're gonna die on? That was your man? That's the dude you looked at as a child? Wonder Man, bro.
Right.
Wonder Man. Not even Captain America. Fucking Wonder
Man. Yeah. Yeah, that was honestly, every time someone gets mad at me for that stuff, I'm just like, guys, I get what you're saying. I understand what was done in the past, and I get it. Like, one of my friends got mad, Interview with a Vampire. She's just like, why did they make the dude black? It completely changes their relationship. The race thing becomes a major part of the story, blah, 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 blah. I was just like, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't think you need to. I think they're doing it for a specific reason, because they wanted to try and change the story.
Because we already got the story.
Right.
That story started, was it one? So let's see. Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Get him again.
Not Dakota Fanning. What's the other girl?
Renee.
Kristen Dunst.
Kristen
Dunst is in that. Anthony, what's his name?
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. That's like 4 people. That movie
launched.
Launched.
Yeah.
And people didn't like the movie when the fans didn't like the movie because it wasn't like the books, or Anne Rice was a little bit skeptical about it, and she was talking shit about it, and they're like,
Right.
okay, you can't cut, like just stop.
Right.
And then when the movie came out, and everyone was like, oh shit, this is actually good, and actually has that theme of, you know, two guys and stuff, and so they did it.
Homoeroticism. They
did it. So, and she's like, oh, okay, my bad, I don't know how the process is really done. And so so like people actually gave a crap about what she was trying to do. So
the Hollywood, the Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise version really, like, you get the idea that they're in love, but they also very much pull back on the like them being really in love. Whereas the TV show is full on like these men are together. There's no questioning their relationship. They're in love. They say it to each other and stuff like that. Whereas the other one, you're kind of like Antonio Banderas' character with Brad Pitt has that moment where they get so physically close that your lips are millimeters apart, and you're just like, at that point, just do the kiss. Like, why?
Why? Remember, it's the 90s.
I know that, 90s, which I get. It's just I'm like watching I remember because I watched the movie recently because I wanted to watch the show too, and I was like, watching the film. I'm like, this is just almost
watching it like 30 years removed.
Say what?
You're watching it 30 years. It's I'm even close in the amount of years, 30 years, 20 years.
Because what's her name is like 10 in the movie. So, and she's definitely in her 30s now. So
so it's like you're watching it with like today mindset, and you're like, why don't you just do it? And
no. I understand that. I'm just saying though, whether or not at that point, let them kiss. I get that it would have caused a whole issue, but then don't even put them that close. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why have two characters mimic the intensity of about to kiss, which is, if anything, more sexually explicit to me? Like, having two people almost fuck is like.
I did see a video on this, and I think it was because of the MPAA or whatever. So like rules. So they had some stuff, but I mean, it's funny because fine, we comply with the rules, but you make it more so the thing that you don't want it to be.
Like, I'm sorry, to me it seems more explicit to murder everyone on behalf of your devoted love to this person than to just have two people go mwah. You know what I mean? Like, if you just have two people kiss, it's way different from somebody who runs around and starts murdering everybody on your behalf because they love you so much, and they're like, stay with me, I need you. No, I cannot stay. It's like, come on. At that point, what are you doing? But it was hilarious.
Is that why Tom Cruise went crazy at the end of the movie?
I don't even understand that part where, like, Christian Slater. Oh, by the way, Christian Slater, the other one was in the movie.
He was already known by that time, I think.
True, he had done the Heathers and a whole bunch of stuff, but Christian Slater's in the movie, and then Tom Cruise is in the car, and like picks him up and is driving, and it's kind of just like, essentially like, you don't even know the whole story, and it's just like, this is a weird way to end this movie. It's like, okay,
but it's like, I feel it's because they left it open ended, so that if it was very well received, they would have been like, okay, cool, we'll just make the bad guy do the story, and eventually turn him, and the trilogy is them all coming together.
Yeah, facts. 100% what they want.
But they sadly didn't. I think Queen of the Dam was the sequel, and that's a bit different.
Queen of the Dam was supposed to be connected, and it made no kind of sense. That's back before Marvel, when people did not know how to do continuity.
True. Yes.
Or maybe they didn't even own the rights completely, so they're like, it's the same character in name only, but we can't really tie it in with the other thing because then we'll get sued. So
this can't be Queen of the Damned. No, it's Queen of the Damed.
It's all in the pronunciation.
Queen of the Great Value.
Anyways, all that to say, I look forward to Yahya. I don't like, my thing with it is I don't need to race bend characters, but I will also probably enjoy them. Manhattan didn't need to be black for me, but the way they did that was very different because it wasn't Manhattan. Like, he wasn't a black man. He wasn't a white character who became a black character. He was a white man who, because he now had the power of a god, could make himself appear however he wanted, and then made himself appear as a black man.
Which is a little weird. Just a little weird if you really break that down.
I mean, he's weird. He's a god. He's a human turned god.
Yeah, he was so separated and was just like, this is who I want to be, because and also he could see all futures, so he knew he became this person.
So he's like, advantage me, black man. Wait, can you explain that? Nope.
But then he couldn't see past a certain point. I think it's fascinating that he chose to be a black man in the world that he was living in. It's a whole other thing to.
Isn't it kind of similar to Martian Manhunter, or isn't he kind of based off of Martian Manhunter?
He is, exactly, which is one of the reasons that I think a lot of people like that he got to be a black man, the same way that John Jones is black often now, but originally in the comic book he wasn't. So you know, there's nods, and it nods that mostly only nerds will know, because anyone who hasn't read this stuff is just like,
actually,
Manhattan was a white man in Snyder's cut. So whatever. We'll look forward to seeing you, Yahya. You do good work, so no one's gonna be mad at what you're gonna do with the character. You're gonna do amazing.
I feel like they just want to make Simon important, and then they're gonna use Yahya as a way to sell it. Like, don't believe, because again, with Simon not being important.
For sure. TV shows, kids. I don't know what you guys have been watching, but I'll very quickly tell you the bastard son of the devil himself, and the devil himself. Apologies, not of the devil himself. Stars Tim Drake from Titans, which was kind of cool to see him pop up, because I was just like, hey, this is homeboy from Titans. And I gotta say, first 5 episodes, they had me on lock. I was so into it. And then they started doing some shit, and I was just like, oh no, you done dropped it. You know, what's his name in that episode of The Office who drops the chili? That's Kevin. Kevin dropping the chili. Episode 6 felt like I was watching Kevin drop the chili. I was like,
that's the saddest moment in TV, man. Kevin dropping that chili. Sad. You just feel so bad for him.
But yeah, man,
I shed a tear for Kevin.
The show is about witches. It has very interesting story, and then when you get to a certain part of the show, they start to make really odd decisions about who's doing what and leadership, and I was just disappointed with what was happening. But it's based on a book, so for all I know, this is exactly how the book goes, and maybe the book's just bad. So be it.
It just sucks. Blame the source material.
Hey man, for all I know, the book sucks, and I just don't know that. So I don't know. I look forward to watching the last 3 episodes and being happily surprised if it gets better, or completely annoyed that it's just bad. So whatever. That's my take, y'all.
That's fine. I guess I'm part of a statistic. I'm one of the people who watched Hocus Pocus in this past week. Hocus Pocus 2, which apparently is like broke streaming records for Disney this past month, which I find pretty hilarious. Out of all things, Hocus Pocus, really.
Yeah, it's spectacular seasons.
Yeah.
But what I'll say about it, it's only worth a watch if you if you watch the first one and like it, because like it's not that it's a bad movie, but it's significantly filled with tropes of the first movie that you're like, and there's not
callbacks, right? Like tons of callbacks.
Yeah, like tons. Like one thing I will give it a lot of credit for is there was 3 actresses, young actresses, that portrayed the 3 sisters at a young age for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. Like or at least it felt that long. It felt a significant, because it's like basically what happens, spoiler alert, is like, you know, the girls are confronted at their house. They're like, where's your dad, or whatever, like, you're whatever, and then the whole town comes in and they're like, you're cursed, blah blah blah. So it's them like dealing with the town, then ultimately leaving the town, and then going into the woods, and then finding another witch that like shows them the way of witchery. So it had to be at least 10 to 15 minutes, but it felt like 20 at least. But those girls killed it, like absolutely killed, not only mimicking something, but doing little traits now that make me believe that you now will turn into these 3 idiots.
Yeah.
Like it is like, especially the girl that does Bette Midler's character.
Do you think they're setting up for a prequel, maybe?
I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it, because they really did a good job.
If it broke streaming records, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to scramble.
Or they make like the TV show about the young witches or something. I don't know. Because like one thing about it, spoiler, is that the ending is a little bit. It feels just as definitive as the last one, when I didn't think they were going to make a second one. I'll say that. Other than that, they like the tropes were really, really entertaining.
Yeah.
But I was like watching this, I was like, I'm happy I like Hocus Pocus 1 because this would have kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Like this would have kind of sucked. This is only funny because I know these other jokes.
I'll say this, sometimes it's a good thing because if you watched it and it felt that connection to the first one, cool. Sometimes what happens is you watch the first one, you watch the second one, and you're just like, oh, this was bad. Like the original is so much better that it feels like you wasted an opportunity. Coming to America. What? Sorry.
No.
I still need to watch that.
so do I, but I don't know if
I had a feeling.
But Doc talked me out of it.
I'm just saying, like, if Hocus Pocus 2 was fun because you watched the original and you felt that connection, I almost wonder if I would have enjoyed coming to America more if I had never seen the first one. Because
that's hard.
Sometimes
I think that's hard because all these movies are banking off of nostalgia.
I know, and I get that.
And Dave, I'm sad to tell you that it's those three girls. It's actually Disney's magic doing it again. The rolling back the years with this animation. No, I'm joking. It's not
oh
true.
God, please don't. Oh my God,
you were about to say they deep faked them or something.
No.
I would have been like that. I don't even understand.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
This is more
that would have been the craziest.
That would have been crazy.
Or they got three actresses and then they did the face thing like they did what's his name? What's his name? Captain America. When Captain America was like thin.
Oh yeah. Man, that's crazy.
But needless to say, it was pretty good if you like the first one.
Okay.
Maybe if it's definitely kid friendly, obviously as well. So like maybe obviously, but worth a watch if you like the first one.
Cool. Jaws.
Mine is trash TV because sometimes we need all that junk food, especially around Halloween.
Yeah,
it is Love is Blind season 3, part 1 and part 2.
I can't believe you've already gotten through the second part.
Nigga, yes.
I haven't watched. I didn't watch any of it this time. So
you guys are
going to watch it?
You guys are the worst. I have to watch it because my girl watches it. I think you guys are crazy for watching the show. It's so ridiculous.
You guys know how I watch, right? I've told you before. I watched the first episode.
Oh, in the last episode.
I watched the beach episode where they go on the trip and all the couples that have actually made it go on that one trip. Yeah. And then I watched the weddings and that's it. I don't watch any of the episodes in between.
No, I'm watching the whole thing. I think the newest episodes just came out today, actually. Okay. So after we're done,
nigga is such a goofball. talk about that light skinned goofball. Talk about
wait, the dude or the girl?
Oh, the dude, man, with the hair.
By the way, just a quick reminder to everybody: none of the marriages from season 2 lasted. They've all fallen apart already.
None of any of the marriages have ever lasted.
Yeah, but season 2, no, that's not true. The first season marriage lasted. The black girl and the white guy.
That's true.
Yeah,
the mixed couple.
They're still together. Yeah.
The yoga girl absolutely hates the guy she's with.
Is that season 3 you're talking about?
I'm talking about season 3.
Okay.
She absolutely hates the guy.
Yoga, or you're talking about Pilates instructor?
Pilates instructor.
Raven.
She has
Raven.
Raven. That's it. I was like, it's a very unique name.
Oh gosh.
Raven's
on her pretty girl BS.
Raven's trying to get a contract. Raven out here stripping. Stop it.
Well, half of them now. I feel like the show is just to introduce people to social media. Like it doesn't feel like they're doing it for love.
Yeah,
they never were doing it for
Raven
love.
That's for damn sure.
They never did it for love.
Pay for half my rent.
Reality TV is fake, and if anything of this is real, oh my god, you people are extreme.
No,
idiots.
I don't think any.
No,
oh man, I don't think I can watch something like The Bachelor because just everybody running after one person.
Right.
And I think there was that controversy where the dude called out the girl for making everybody act like they're in high school and I could do this, and he called her out because he was like, I'm here to actually find somebody, and you're wasting my time and taking away time for me from being with my daughter. I actually have a daughter, and I came on the show to do this, and he just blew up on her. He said, that's why you're 30 and single and doing this show.
Shit.
It was woo.
This is the Bachelor, the Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago.
God damn.
So I just saw a video of a guy kind of getting everything together. I was like,
right. But I gotta say though, like you're saying about this show, reality shows are fake. Like when you do these shows, so like if you're the guy who goes onto the show and says, I have a daughter at home that I need to get back to, if you're not serious, it's like, bitch, you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Have you seen the show? There's like 20 of these.
Exactly. How do you go on The Bachelor
no one
or
lasts
Bachelorette? Yeah, come on now. That's on him. That girl should have been like, dum-dum, what did you think the show was gonna be? Like, honestly, you could blow up at her all you want, but you knew what you were getting into. Anyways, sorry, continue with Love is Blind.
Yeah, for this show, what else was there? There's a couple where the two of them are, I guess, kind of religious, Zanab and some I forgot his name, Cole.
Okay.
And she can't get over the fact that he finds there's somebody else that was there that was his type.
Yeah.
And she's just all like, she can't get over it. And, you know, she has some other like issues because she's adopted and she's a little bit darker skinned. And her name is Zanab and she's in Texas, you know.
But
so
did she connect with anyone else or she
only this is the person she agreed to marry.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like when she went on the dates in the pods, this guy was the only one she saw had some sort of fun with, because I feel like the whole point is you go on blind dates with everyone, so you can't be mad at him for liking someone else. That's the point of the show.
Isn't there two couples where there's two couples that are kind of like both rocky, but they like the other secondary people they liked are the other couple that is
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so
funny.
So
okay.
Cole said this other girl, Colleen, who's like a ballerina, that's more of his type, and like not his type, just body type. That's it, body type. But like when they actually talked in the pods, there was no deeper connection for him. So,
but now that he's seen that body, he's just like,
he's like, okay, yeah, that would be my body type, but no, like,
but
we
the
don't
point
have
of the show
an actual connection.
Bitch. That's like
but,
I don't.
But that's what happens when you go to the beach and you see everybody else that was in the
pods. The ballerina looks like a 10-year-old boy. What are we talking about here?
Oh my god.
She ain't no ballerina. She's lying.
And then, and then her guy she's with, I guess she told him like, oh, you know, I was just talking with Cole and this, that, and the other, and he literally flipped out and was willing to walk out because he was married when he was like, I guess he married his high school sweetheart, and then at some point she cheated on him, and so now he's like, I don't want to get played. So like all that starts bubbling up, and you're just like, oh boy, and it looks like a hard red flag.
Yeah.
She cheated on him because he has an established 1984 tattoo on his forearm. The guy's a goof. That's why she left you, bro.
I feel like people need to realize reality TV shows are soap operas. That's what it is. And it's always so funny to me when the characters go, and I call them characters because they are archetypes. They are archetype characters. When they go on the show and they do this whole like, like they get all huffy, like you're saying, the guy with the daughter, or this guy who's getting all huffy because I've been cheated on in the past. It's like the scorn lover archetype is this guy, and he's now playing his role to perfection. And I wonder if it's like the editors or him knowing he's supposed to play into the role. That's the part.
That guy actually like started talking to the producers, and they kept that in. Like he was like that upset. So you're just like, ooh,
boy. Okay.
But I mean, like, I don't think.
Do you
think anyone is as the greatest supervillain of the show, Shay?
Oh yeah,
from season 2.
That guy,
so bad where you don't even ask him back.
I mean,
for the
like, dude, he was a fucking idiot. Like he was.
When you guys were describing him, I was like, "Is this Aziz Ansari from Parks and Rec?" That's what it sounds like. That's what it literally sounds like. And then when I saw him and heard him talk, I'm like, "Oh my god, why is that real?" That was.
And he's like hitting on what's her name? The Vanessa, the host.
Oh yeah.
When he was like hitting on, he's like, she's more my. And it's like, dude, stop talking.
And he just kept going.
Wendell, can we talk about the camera work this season and how the camera guy is just literally just not even trying to be discreet?
In which parts?
All parts. On all parts. He's just like zooming in on chests and stuff. Like it's terrible. It's like,
oh yeah. You got some
especially for Zanab, like this girl is just not aware of herself, or maybe she is and she just doesn't give a fuck. But the camera guy is having fun.
I thought I was watching an anime from the 90s. I was like, what the hell?
What is it? What's it called? The Thing Service? The fan service.
Yeah, the fan service. Fan
Yeah.
service is strong with this one.
Oh,
Expecting
God.
nosebleeds everywhere, man.
It's like someone
No,
saying
dude.
like find the news, find the dirty news. That's how it is.
That's
So there's
fine.
only like one couple, and they're very boring. And
Well, I
but
was gonna ask, is anyone gonna get married? Like, do you think anyone makes it to the altar?
I feel there's one couple that's gonna make it
Seems
to
like
the
that.
altar, and that's the was it the Jewish girl? I guess she's like Israeli, and
Okay.
the cowboy guy. But
Okay.
I think
Oh yeah, maybe, but that depends.
there's
on
like no drama,
conversation.
so they're the
Yeah.
boring couple, right?
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
There's no drama.
That's
They're
so
the
funny
boring
though. It's just
couple.
like, well, they're not. There's
And-
nothing interesting
And
about their relationship.
She
so.
will talk. That girl will talk about. Her name's Alexa, I think, and she'll talk about like stuff in the bedroom, and you're like, God damn.
Oh,
and she's
damn.
and she's
okay.
a little plus size, so she's talking with one of the other people about how she likes to be thrown around, and I'm like, God damn it, woman, your dad is watching this show, and you meet the dad and everything, and she comes from a rich family. They're walking into the house, and you're seeing like a Ferrari in the driveway, and
Girls always want to get ragdolled. Some kind of daddy issue. I don't know.
The rich girl wants to be ragdoll because she
They
has
al-
daddy issues.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
always comes some kind of daddy issue just from experience. It's just the rich girls. are
Oh,
crazy. Yeah.
but they're the one couple that has no real drama, no real issues. It feels a little awkward when they're talking to each other. I guess they're still trying to figure out their pattern, their cadence and stuff like, because everybody here's like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into a relationship, and they're about to get married. So
This
stuff
show
like
is
that.
the worst.
I love when
I'm
they try to
scared.
convince their family that they're not crazy, and you always have the one
Yeah.
brother who's either older or younger there with the beer sitting around the fire, like, so you sure about this? And he's like, yeah, I knew when I first saw her. He's like, yeah, okay.
Oh, you're talking about Baptiste? Baptiste, when you mentioned his girls, when you did his girl's family.
Yeah, man. He's like, okay, bud.
But there was even one dude who's literally going against his family.
Yeah,
that's
the dude
Cole.
who froze up because his sister didn't like her. The idiot. Oh, my sister doesn't approve of Zeneb, so
Oh, I didn't get to see that yet.
At the new one?
I think that's like today's episode, because I know Cole, like his family's like, we're religious, and how could you lay with a girl that you just met and blah blah blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, this is 2022, and people are still that religious.
Hilarious. Wild.
So yeah, trash. Nom, not good for me. Don't care.
All right,
If it's trash for you and you don't like trash, you don't need to see it.
Yeah,
You
exactly,
Skip it.
exactly.
Go ahead, skip whatever.
Folks, yeah, I think that's hilarious, because like I was saying, this whole thing to me is so funny with these reality TV shows, and like, trash is entertaining. So you think soap operas made as much money as they did because they were boring?
Honestly,
No,
for
man.
years.
And the best part of
50
soap
years
operas was the whole model is based on, okay, we got to sell soap to housewives. Like, that's literally why they're called soap operas. And it became one of the biggest
Staple.
industries for advertisers that, like, for a while. And then they started realizing, hey, if we do this same thing with real people and it's not scripted, quote unquote, they might eat that up in the evening too. And here you go, Survivor, Big Brother.
I'm just here eating my
Bachelor.
popcorn like Michael
Challenge.
Jackson in Thriller.
Yeah.
I hate all these reality shows. The only thing that's worse is O'Day. The only thing that's funny is that, so for those who don't know, O'Day is a French reality TV show.
those are the worst.
Oh,
Those are the
no.
worst ones.
I'm not
I already
gonna
told
rant
you
about
to
it.
bring it up.
I'm not
He's
gonna rant
bringing
about
up
it.
something he's been told specifically he's not allowed to talk about.
I just find it funny. No, outside of this, I find it funny that a show's own participants are going to result in the show's termination for good. And good. That's karma that I hope besmirches all reality TV shows.
Ooh, stop talking about a crap show.
You've been talking about a crap show for 10 minutes
Yeah, but
right
you're
now.
talking
I'm
about
done.
a crap
I'm done.
show
I'm
in
done with my
Quebec.
show. I
and
said
that's
it's
even
bad.
worse.
Yeah,
Don't
Quebec
watch
reality shows just raises white people on.
Yeah,
TV.
exactly.
That's
I'm not interested in watching racist white people do their shit.
Yeah.
Get them
Sauce in
out of here.
Wahoo, like whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's wild. This is such an insane thing to think about. But yes. What else, folks? I guess that's pretty much all the stuff we had for our show reviews. Skinny, did you have a show?
I'll really quickly say Atlanta episode. It is episode 8.
The goofy one.
The goof that sat by the door.
Fantastic episode. Fantastic episode. Go check it out.
Like, oh my goodness.
I love the fact that we're as a culture, as a people, we are able to articulate how good a Goofy movie is for us.
Yes.
Now, I'm putting my camera on for this part real quick.
Did you watch?
Did
you watch the episode, Jaws?
No, I get to watch. I saw like all the think pieces coming out about it. I know there's another there's a YouTuber, a black YouTuber that did a really good long video talking about a Goofy movie and what it's about. And I just like that fact that the zeitgeist is kind of carrying through to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about this episode. I did not realize. And then when I realized, that's when I threw up my status on Facebook and I was like, oh, like I almost called Brian. It was like 11:30 at night. Doc, I almost called you to be like, yo, you need to watch this episode yesterday because I was in my house being super. I was like, you don't understand. Atlanta has done some crazy shit this year. Like having homie in the episode the same week he died, that's cool. But when you guys are going to literally make up a documentary and somehow double flip it back to make it into some real heartfelt shit, talking about the Black experience and Disney
Black
and
fatherhood.
Goofy, yo, come on, bro. I almost cried.
It was so good.
Oh man,
it was beautifully done. And then just the funny things that they threw in. I'm just like, y'all made sure to keep it Atlanta with that picture of him doing peace and
standing on the conference table,
bro,
doing the peace sign. I was like, yo, this is so hilarious to think that an executive at Disney was doing this. Honestly, I gotta say, and I remember Skinny, you had said you were like, oh, it's kind of crazy that they were able to do this for Disney, but it's like, oh yeah, FX is owned by Disney, and man.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds exactly like when Conan O'Brien, I think he managed to get the clips of Walker Texas Ranger just because I think NBC Universal bought Turner or something, or whoever owned
had some deal.
Yeah, and so he would just pull a lever and show a random ass clip of Walker Texas Ranger, and then the whole joke culminated in him running into what's his name? Oh crap, the guy from Walker Texas Ranger. What's it? Chuck Norris. He runs into Chuck Norris in the hallway, and Chuck Norris beats him up into a bunch of pile of boxes.
That I do not remember, but that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's how that whole running gag finally ended. Where it's like he runs, like he's walking through the hallways of NBC, and then he turns the corner, and there's Chuck Norris, and off on the side, the little corner side, you see a bunch of stacked boxes, and you're like, what? And he just beats him up, and he side kicks him into the boxes. And he's like,
love it. Wild. Honestly, folks, all the shows we talked about are things you should check out. All that insane news and information we gave you about how the networks are run. If you ever have questions, you can always hit us up on our socials at Geektastic Sci-Fi on all platforms. And yeah, we got some last little geek news to wrap up. What do you guys feel? Anything we have headlines? Should I just run through the headlines?
Run through the headlines.
Yeah, run through them quick.
Liam Hemsworth replaces Henry Cavill in The Witcher after season 3. So Cavill's going to be in the next season that's coming up, but then is departing. A lot of people assume because there's a high likelihood at the end of Black Adam, if you saw it. Spoiler alert! He's back as Superman in the suit, and people are expecting he's going to be taking time off from Netflix to go back to Warner Brothers.
From what I've also heard is that he's not happy with how they're going to take Geralt in the direction in the 4th season, because apparently he's a big fan of the video games, and he read all the books, so he's all down-ho to do this because of the books. And apparently the showrunners and everybody else do not like the books, and they're veering away from that. So he's flexing his nerd muscle. But
if you don't like the books, why do the IP?
They want to do something different from the books, and so he's like peacing out, apparently, because I think they said there was like a clause in his contract where his other stuff shouldn't conflict with The Witcher. But then I saw another thing where it said that apparently people didn't like him on set because he was probably, I'm assuming, being too nerdy about, hey, does not like the books, Geralt wouldn't do this, etc., etc., etc.
As well, he should be.
Yeah, that's being a good job.
That's him doing the work. And honestly, people who get mad at people who are actually, like, that's not gatekeeping, by the way, because I know some people will be like, oh, it's geek. No, if you're gonna try and convert something and there's specific characteristics that a character has, and you're like, the character wouldn't do this. If you want to write the story differently, sure, but the character themselves would not do this specific thing, then being true to the character is an important part of it. Let the man do his job. Anyways,
it's like Batman driving the Batmobile in the middle of Gotham in like the middle of day. He just wouldn't do that. You might see Batman in a building, like covertly go somewhere,
but not being Batman in the day in broad daylight.
He's not gonna. You're not gonna see him like fly across.
That only happened once, I think, in the animated series where I think it was, what's her name, Poison Ivy, like kind of becomes good, and he's randomly in a tree, like looking at her, but it's like daytime, and then when you listen to the audio commentary, Bruce Timm is like, "Oh, I hate this shot," because it's going to be sundown, but it's Bruce in the top of the tree. Like looking at Poison Ivy, but it's like you can see a grown-ass man in that tree.
Speaking of Batman, the Penguin sets Christine, I always forget what's her last name. Christine Milani. Did I read it right?
Oh, I don't ask me. You know me.
Anyways,
I know better.
So they for those of you who may not know her, she's the actress who played the love interest on How I Met Your Mother, and Milioti, Kristen Milioti. She's in that like Star Trek episode of Black Mirror. She's been on the show The Resort recently with Chidi, homeboy who played Chidi on The Good Place, and she's done a whole bunch of other stuff. She's actually a very good actress.
She did that great movie with Adam.
Adam Sandler.
Palm Springs.
No, sorry,
Palm
no,
Springs,
not Adam Sandler.
No,
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. There we go.
She's going to be playing Sophia Falcone, which I don't love because Falcone is not a small 5'2" woman. Falcone in the comic book and in the animated version that came out not too long ago is depicted as a big, strong, tall woman. Think Gwendolyn Christie. Speaking of people with Christie names, Gwendolyn Christie with black hair. Picture that. That's how Sophia Falcone is supposed to look. So they're taking some liberties, and like we said, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of that in Hollywood, and you want to get these small petite actresses to play towering characters. I mean, if Homegirl could play She-Hulk, whatever. I mean, I know they're not going to do any CGI for this, but a little disappointed. Me personally, a little disappointed.
Well, I mean, like anybody could technically play She-Hulk because you're going to CGI her,
right?
Anyway.
Yeah. But
you can't do that with
a human, exactly.
Like with this, like you can't Hobbit this, you know?
Right?
No,
exactly. So,
maybe they do. They're just all angles now.
Oh my god.
What else we got? Venom 3. Kelly Marcel set to direct the next installment, starring Tom Hardy. She wrote the first two, or co-wrote the first two, so people are excited because it's going to be her vision. She's writing the third one right now with Hardy, and I think a few other people are going to be listed as producers, and then she's going to be directing this latest one after Andy Serkis directed the second.
Not failing up. Good for her.
Right. A Quiet Place Day 1. Paramount taps Lupita Nyong'o to star, so she's going to be in the prequel series, prequel film, which is going to be really cool. People are really excited for this because it's a very interesting universe that Krasinski has built. He's not only just Jack Ryan, but by day he's also writing successful fucking universes that are original IPs, which I don't know many people who could say that in Hollywood these days. So kudos to him. And I look forward to Lupita starring in it. I think it's going to be really cool. Dave, you already mentioned this, but Hocus Pocus broke streaming records for Disney Plus this month, which I think is cool. Spooky season, like Jaws was saying, is amongst us, and people like to do the spook.
Plus a good nostalgic movie.
Right.
If you had basic cable or no cable, CBC would be playing this all the time. So I mean, it's already the first one's already a classic. So of course, if you have that much people, they're gonna crowd around the TV and see what's going on with this new one.
And lastly, Black Panther podcast hosted by Ta-Nehisi Coates is coming out after the film launches. So like we said, November 11th, you can go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever in theaters. And then the podcast, which I hope Ta-Nehisi Coates, who wrote the comic book for some time, I imagine they're going to delve deep into the world of the cinematic universe, if not just the character as a whole, and should be very interesting. So people can check that out. It's going to be coming out right after the film drops. Guys, that's everything. That's the whole show. Anything you guys want to tell people? Anything you want to say? No, got quiet.
Head out and watch Transformers Slag on YouTube.
Yes. Make sure to check out Free X Agents Media on YouTube. You can check out all our shows, The Morning Detour, Chop Vision, The Dumbest Timeline, all of it. It's all there. You guys can check it out. We appreciate you. We love y'all. Peace, everybody. We'll be back with another one next week. Later.
All right.